At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Hey, well, good morning, everyone. We've been working out a few kinks for us, so thank you for being patient, and thank you for sticking with us throughout this morning. I hope it's been a great start to your day. We've been having just a little bit of those technical issues, so if you do see or hear anything, all the feedback is definitely welcome. So thank you for letting us know if the mics are on or off, if you're hearing something in the background, and if things look a little unnormal. Mike has been sound asleep this whole entire time and has left me to just figure it all out. I'm just kidding. Mike has been on hands and has been helping me through this whole entire process, and he's been wonderful getting me started and working out these kinks. So he is up and ready with us as well, if anything does kind of go wrong out of the normal, but you will see my face during this forecast. So thank you again for waking up with us and being patient. And we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Things that we've been talking about for about a couple of days that I've been on is the Cascade Christmas. So Mike has been telling me so much about it and the fact that it is a tradition for this time of the year. There are about 6 shows I hear, so if it is in your plans to go ahead and head out this weekend, well, guess what? It is going to shape up to a fairly nice weekend to go ahead and do so, starting this Friday, the 21st to the 23rd. And then we also have those chances from the 28th to the 30th. So if you haven't had a chance to get out, it is pretty nice to go ahead and do so. Now, jumping right into the forecast, we're going to get through this quick cast together and what we've been experiencing so far this morning. Since we've got a little bit of a late start, that fog started off this morning along the coast, but it's now starting to recede, getting a little bit thinner. Winds are a little bit on the breezy side, but rain will start to arrive as we head further into our afternoon and evening. We're looking at a bulk of that really returning for that wet weather for us later today, overnight into tomorrow. And we also have this chance for some snow. It's good to start to see that snow move in, and it can get as low as 5,000 feet. If you're traveling on Highway 3 today, you may see a little bit of a dusting, and then it's going to be dry this weekend. We've been talking about snow, rain, but we do have a mix of sunshine and drier weather on the way. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this quick cast. I've been having my tea, so suggestions from Monday. I got a nice little cup that Mike gave me, and it does have some tea with some honey. So let's go ahead and get through this. Hopefully it's been helping me out this morning, getting over a little bit of a cold. Speaking about cold, it's fairly cold out there in Alturas this morning, just about 34 degrees as you're stepping out. Grab those jackets. It's still chilly in the 50s to some. If you like it that way, maybe you're heading out in a sweater. If you're a little bit more needing those layers, you're probably layering up with a thicker jacket. 48 degrees in Eureka heading out this morning, just about 51 degrees in Redway. Current temperatures out the door, just as we're heading throughout our 8 o'clock hour, we can see a little bit of that fog in the valley and also in Trinity. Some of that fog mainly in the higher elevations along the coast, but patchiness, I would say, as the clouds start to move in, we get some sunshine before the rain does start to arrive. So 47 degrees, just about 42 in Trinity, 46 along the coast, and a little chilly out there in Modoc at 31 degrees. So taking a look at our satellite, we've seen that system move throughout the weekend, and yesterday it was fairly nice. High pressure was settling over us, and we got a little bit of that break between wet weather, but it's on its way. We do see that cold front pushing in, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that later to far as see how long it's going to really stick around for in the timing of it as you're heading out the door. Those clouds moving in, starting to get those winds picking up by this afternoon along the coast ahead of that system, getting you out the door this morning into about your 5 o'clock hour, your commute. If you're heading home from work, it's going to get a little bit on the wet side again, is along the coast, and that system is going to continue to push throughout the morning, overnight hours, I shall say, late evening throughout the valley, just around midnight into tomorrow. But today we're looking at the mid to upper 50s, even some low 60s are possible. 40s out there near the eastern mountains. So it's not going to be on the cold side, but the system moves through. Things will get a little bit cooler heading into your Thursday. And we'll take a look at that coming up in just a bit. Tonight, our temperatures in the upper 30s, even some low 40s, those upper 20s near some areas just near Tool Lake and Tennant, and then also near areas in Lassen Park. Been seeing some pretty nice snow out there in Lassen Park. So just where we need the temperatures to be at about 31 degrees. So I'm excited for the snow. In some areas, if you don't get it and you have to drive to it, that makes it all of a wonder. If it's not your favorite thing to have, at least you do get a taste of it. And that's the beauty of being here on the North Coast. You get a little bit of everything if you just take a little bit of a drive. So heading out today, your 7-day outlook, getting you through the week in Reading. We got today, tomorrow, those chances for that wet weather again, late tonight, overnight into Thursday. And then your weekend, we got more sunshine on the way and temperatures. I can't believe it's going to be 69 degrees on Saturday. If you got plans heading out, it's going to be fairly warm, even in Red Bluff and in Chico. So similar conditions in the 60s will return, a little bit warmer in Reading, one of the warmer spots for us heading into our Saturday. 7-day outlook along the coast. Again, more of that wet weather heading in overnight, but by this afternoon, late afternoon into the evening along the coast, you're going to get hit with it first into our Thursday, lingering with some isolated chances for some heavier downpours. But Saturday, Sunday, shaping up fairly nice for us, even inland. 60s are returning, and then we even get into some low 60s as we jump into the weekend in Weaverville. So not too bad, getting through some mid to upper 50s, some wet weather for us as you're heading out. And again, apologize, it took a little bit longer this morning, but here was your quick cast and getting out the door for you. Our 7-day outlook in Mount Shasta and Alturas as well. We have those higher elevation chances for some snow, mainly above 5,500, 5,000 feet. And also in Alturas and Susanville. Overnight, though, that's when it's going to get chilly into those 30s. So taking a step out, you may need those layers and those jackets heading out later on, heading into Thursday and Friday. It's going to be a chillier start to your morning, but shaping up with some more sunshine on the way. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cameras. What's going on our live field in Lake Oroville? It's setting up pretty nice. The sun is already out, a different view out there for us. And we're not seeing too much action going on. Again, rain hasn't started to make its way in yet. And we are going to start to see it again later into the evening and overnight hours. Everybody out moving and grooving on Main Street in Chico. So we're seeing some of the roads clearing up from what we had on Monday when I last took a look at everything. And it's still a little bit wet out there, but again, later tonight to tomorrow, construction workers out there, everything is going to start to get a little bit of wetness into your Thursday morning. But right now, the commute doesn't look too bad. Highway 99 at Neal Road, things are flowing pretty well as they're heading out. A little bit more traffic as you're starting to get out there, but dry conditions. So that is good starting off your Wednesday. Thursday, 24-hour difference is going to make a change as we head overnight into tomorrow again. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a different view. Highway 44 and the Sundial Bridge, we're looking at some conditions that are a little bit more busier, I would say, heading out this morning. But again, not really seeing that rain just yet. So dry conditions out there. We like to see that getting out in the morning. The rain is good, but you know, sometimes when you have something to do, it does kind of get in the way, I would say. Looking at Ball Hill West, a pretty nice view out there. I love to see the clouds just a little bit lower, hugging the mountains, and that's exactly what we're seeing this morning. A beautiful view, starting to see more green out there. So the rain is giving us the green that we need. Things are starting to look a little bit more alive, heading into the fall and even into the winter. We see some droplets over here in Soda Ridge. Usually it's probably some low clouds, some fog out there, just pretty much covered, getting that moisture So hugging our camera out there for us this morning. And then we start to see some of that fog, some low clouds in Fort Jones. Things will start to recede. We'll get a little bit more of the breaking in the clouds as we get into the afternoon, possibly before that system really starts to arrive. So it's going to be a fairly cloudy day out there for some of us, and even some of that fog. But Lassen Park, higher elevations, I mean, the sun is out there. You see the snow. It looks like things have started to melt a tad bit, maybe from yesterday. And I see the bench a little bit clearing than what I saw on Monday from what we received over the weekend. But I think that's going to be added back on as we head into later tonight and tomorrow. So we have those chances for some snow to just start to arrive back and just hug us a little bit more. But this is a pretty view out there. The sun on the snow just makes you want to go and play in it. Well, we do have our sponsors here and we're thankful for them. So we have our Grange Co-op Spotlight. So go ahead and enjoy this segment and we'll be right back.
Hello everyone, I'm Mike Kruger and you are watching Grange Co-op Spotlight, and with me right now I have got Tasha. Now we are in the sporting goods section right now. Yes. Tell us about what you got going on here, what you guys offer.
Well, we have some safes to keep your valuables secure, as well as a good variety of rods and lures, some plastic jigs and the like. And then for trout season, we've got power bait, cast masters, and Panther Martins, as well as for our bass folks, we've got our whopper ploppers, spinners, and frogs. And of course, we've got all the hooks, lines, and sinkers.
So it seems like fishing is kind of a big thing for you guys, right?
Yes, with all the lakes nearby,
yeah.
You know, it's a good spot to have fishing gear.
And then you've got the gun safes as well, right?
Yes. We don't sell any guns, but we know protection and safety is top priority for our county and customers, so we want to provide for them.
Absolutely. Well, that is awesome. Thank you, Tasha. And of course, this is a great place to go if you need any kind of fishing gear here. It's there for you, or that gun safe. So be sure to come out here to Grange Co-op here in Reading, and we'll see you next week for a Grange Co-op Spotlight.
Well, that was nice, and welcome back, everyone. And, you know, we have our sponsors, and we are thankful for them, and a couple of more that we like to give thanks to. So this would be made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. Say that 3 times. And I have another thing to say. So made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. Mike is a pro. I'm just a little amateur getting at this, but thank you, Wind River. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. So maybe if I get over there to Wind River, probably get a little bit of luck at saying that, but thank you, Wind River, for making this possible. Now, thank you, Mother Nature, for making this weather possible that we're seeing up and down. I would say fog, it has been the story along the coast, receding this morning, and then we start to get some of those gusty winds arriving as the system does start to push through. Wet weather is on the way, but again, we're going to have a chance for a break of it. Maybe you get out and about and do things before later this evening into overnight, and then the snow levels are possible again, getting as low as 5,000 feet. But some drier conditions as we head into the weekend. So we're going to take a look at your deep dive forecast, but first we're going to check out our sponsor, Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it.
Well, thank you for checking that out, and welcome back. We're going to deep dive into our forecast and see what we have in store for us this Wednesday, getting into our weekend. Now, most of us are going to stay relatively dry again for most of the morning, but by the afternoon, that's when things do start to change. Heading out the door right now, current temperatures, most of us in those mid to upper 40s along the coast, even some 50s in the valley. Eastern mountains, we're seeing temperatures and feeling them in those low 30s, and just about 39 degrees in Mount Shasta. So a variety of temperatures where you're seeing a little bit more of the blues. That's where we're feeling a little bit of those cooler conditions, and all that's going to play into our higher elevation chances for some snow. We need those temperatures, the moisture moving in, and a mix of everything that allows the weather to do what it loves to do. And that's bringing us those chances for some wet conditions and what we need for this time of the year. So going ahead, taking a look at our satellite. I love to just sit here and look at the loop sometimes. It's very majestic and very pretty, especially when you have a low pressure system as that moving into the area, bringing in us the moisture, and then also a cold front. Behind it, temperatures could get a little bit cool, but we're not looking at a drastic drop in our temperature wise, but enough just to give us some high elevation snow out there. So drier starting off our day, seeing those clouds out there throughout our morning hours. But again, as we head further into the morning, clouds are going to start to build up. A little bit of that marine layer will start to recede, but it's going to be kissed with some more clouds as we get back into the afternoon. So take a look. You see this line of light green moving in? Well, we could get those winds picking up a little bit more along the coast, and that's just ahead of the system before it starts to move in. So breezier conditions. There's again a small craft advisory. Keep that in mind. Wetter conditions throughout your afternoon. Lunch hour, not as bad, but once we get into maybe pickup time for the kiddos, maybe you're heading off to work or maybe home from work, if you're running into the grocery store, just keep in mind after 3 p.m. things are going to get a little bit more active for us here in Humboldt County, Delnor County, along the coast, even near areas in Trinity County as well. So traveling on 299, that's going to get a little messy, especially heading either east or west for you. Heavier downpours expected mainly in Humboldt and Delnor County just after 3 to about 9 p.m. After 9 p.m. moving overnight, we're going to start to see that rain move into the valley. So midnight hours when we can get a bulk of that system really pushing in Redding near Mount Shasta. So if you're traveling overnight, either north or south on I-5 or 299, east or west, keep that in mind. By 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's going to be something that's going to meet us as you're heading out near Bernie. We can get some of that high elevation snow possibilities, and then also along the coast. The system does start to get a little bit more isolated. It's breaking down a little bit more, but we're not really looking at a widespread event, but still those chances for some isolated showers near Hoopa, also near Eureka by Thursday afternoon. And we're starting to even see some of it near Crescent City, and Mount Shasta could still get a little bit more of those high elevation snow chances as we head into Thursday late afternoon. But by 6 p.m., we're starting to clear out. Everything is starting to get calmer. But heading into the evening, it may get a little bit on the chillier side, especially for the higher elevations. Take a look. We're having a little bit more clearing overnight, even along the coast. Those clouds aren't as thick. So it may get a little bit cooler since we're having some of what is called radiational cooling overnight into overnight into Friday and then into your afternoon. So a little bit on the chillier side, starting off, waking up throughout your Friday morning. May even have a little bit of frost, even patchy fog early Friday, but clearing out by the afternoon and evening. And it's setting up to be a pretty nice Friday out there. If you're tired of all the wet weather and you have plans for the weekend and you don't really want to stay indoors, well, this weekend is shaping up fairly nice for you. Even heading into Friday evening, late evening plans, a late movie, heading into Saturday, getting out in the morning for a nice morning walk. Maybe you want to see all the snow that made its way into some areas, or even check out how the rivers are looking, or even the ponds and streams. We're going to have a chance to kind of get out on Saturday by the afternoon as well, and not really looking at too much of an impact on any of our weather, I would say, for us if you have any plans heading into your Saturday, even Sunday. Now those clouds and the fog does return as we head later into Saturday. and a little bit of a chance of some breezy conditions. So watch out for those sneaker waves out there. Although we're starting to not get that system moving in heading into the weekend, that is still possible. We're looking at this ridge building over us as we head into Sunday, and that's going to continue into next week. So drier conditions for us as we head into our Sunday, and even as we get into Monday and Tuesday, we could start to see things kind of on the drier side, setting up for our holiday. We're watching something further off in the back end, not really looking at a major threat as of right now, but keeping an eye on it as we have our holiday plans in store. But right now, looking at Tuesday, things fairly still on the calmer side, and temperatures pretty average for this time of the year. Wave heights. We've been talking about the sneaker waves and waves along the coast. Now, small craft advisory is still in place. Again, ahead of that system, as it does start to move in, we can get those winds picking up a bit. So just at about 30, 35 mile per hour gusts are possible. Sneaker waves are possible heading further into Wednesday, Thursday. And once that isolated chances for those storms start to move in and those showers, we still have a chance for those wave heights to be pretty high. So just keep that in mind. Small craft advisory, winds could still be fairly gusty out there for us along the coast. Now we're looking at high tide moving in just at about 10:47 this morning, and then low tide around 5:37. Again, the small craft advisory will be out there. So maybe this weekend will be a little bit better to head out there for those small boats for us. Neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health. Going ahead, jumping right in today. We're feeling those conditions again, upper 40s, even the chances for those 30s to return late tonight and overnight, but not really looking at any freezing conditions in Weaverville and across areas in Trinity County. So we're feeling temperatures, Weaverville about 49 degrees, but we are expecting temperatures to get into those low 60s by this weekend, and some more sunshine out there. Winds not as gusty for us in Trinity County for us today, but we could get a little bit of 15, 20 mile per hour gusts as the system does move in later tonight into tomorrow morning. Looking at Hayfork, our temperatures do drop a little bit below that freezing mark heading into your Thursday, Friday morning, and even into Saturday. So keep that in mind as you're heading out in the morning hours, that it may be a little bit on the chilly side, although we're getting some more sunshine. We're only going to see temperatures really get into the 60s getting into the weekend, but those morning hours and late overnight could get fairly chilly out there for us. On the North Coast, we're looking at winds generally calm until that system arrives later in the afternoon. It could get a little breezy, but temperatures in the upper 50s and then getting into the 60s by the weekend. So Redway, we're looking at 63 on Saturday, and those low 60s heading into next week as well. Ferndale, 57 degrees for us today. We're going to see a little bit more of that patchy fog throughout the day today, even heading overnight into tomorrow, and some lower clouds. Later tonight into tomorrow morning, things are still going to be fairly on the wet side. Those isolated chances are still possible for Fortuna and near Rio Dell. 60s as we're heading into Saturday and into Sunday, but no freezing conditions. So we're not looking at any frosty conditions out there for us. Hoopa setting up fairly nicely today, upper 50s, but we do have those chances for rain moving in as we get into late tonight, and also heading into our Thursday, those isolated chances for some rain. Trinidad, 57 degrees. McKinleyville, also in those mid to upper 50s. It's going to be a little bit breezier in areas near Arcata, McKinleyville, and Trinidad as that system does start to push in to the area, so we can get those 30 mile per hour gusts. So if you have any flights heading out today or even tomorrow, just make sure you keep an eye on that for any cancellations for you all. Crescent City, 56 degrees along the coast, and 54 in Klamath. Check it out, a little bit breezier, and again, we can get those gusts at about 30 miles per hour as the system moves in. Crescent City, mid to upper 50s this weekend, so not too bad. Again, setting up for some more sunshine, no freezing conditions overnight, even in Orleans, 58 degrees for the highs today. Heading over into Siskiyou County, we are feeling temperatures in those mid to upper 50s for Horse Creek, one of the warmer spots in the area, but lower 50s in Happy Camp as well as in Wairika. Temperatures are going to get a little bit cooler as we get into tomorrow, though, with those chances of the high elevation snow. And then heading into Friday, again, temperatures will drop into those lower 30s Friday and Saturday. So it's going to be a little chilly heading out Friday morning, Saturday, and even Sunday, although it's not going to be any wet weather, still layering up out there for us. Scott Valley, we're going to start to see temperatures in those low 50s as we get into today, cooler tomorrow. And then as we get into Thursday night, Friday, again, a little bit on the cooler side, less clouds out there. No rain or snow chances into your weekend. And then we start to get some more sunshine and 58 degrees by your Sunday. So a sunny Sunday out there for us with temperatures a little bit on the warmer side in those mid to upper 50s. Siskiyou County and Mount Shasta, we're going to see some of that high elevation snow chances. So that's great. Good news, and temperatures do drop near that freezing mark as we head overnight into Friday and Saturday. So a little bit chillier. We could see a little bit of light frost possibly heading into Saturday, even Friday morning, and some patchy fog possible as well. Mid to upper 40s though, warming up fairly nicely. And then as we get into the weekend, mid to upper 50s. So we do see a nice, I would say 10-degree temperature change heading into Sunday from what we're going to feel today. As well as areas in Alturas, we see 49 for the high today and 44 tomorrow, and then we can get into those 50s by the weekend and even some upper 50s by Sunday. So some fairly nice conditions, but again, overnight is going to be those chillier times for us, dropping even into the low 20s. Eastern mountains, feeling temperatures in the upper 40s, and then even some low 50s are possible as well. Getting into tomorrow, slightly cooler, mid to upper 40s, and then we start to see temperatures below that freezing mark again, late night, overnight into Friday, Saturday. It's going to be a chilly one. You may have a light frost, even some patchy fog developing in the mountains, but not really sticking around for a very long time in Bernie. Upper 50s that we're going to expect heading into the weekend. Just chillier starts to the day. Looking near areas in Lassen Park. Now, the snow has been accumulating out that way. We're going to get a little bit of those chances some more today. And then temperatures just about 35 degrees. Once we head overnight and then into the morning, that's where we're going to have those better chances for snow dropping below that freezing mark and get into those 30s into Friday morning as well. So we're seeing some more chances for those accumulations, but things will start to look pretty nice out there getting into the weekend. Some mid to upper 50s as well as in Chester's, a little bit warmer for the Saturday and Sunday, some mid to upper 60s. So we're jumping nearly 20 degrees heading into our weekend. Eastern mountains, we're feeling temperatures in those mid to upper 40s. Paradise looking about 51 degrees. And then heading into this weekend, 58 for us. Susanville, we got 60s on the way this weekend, but getting through today and tomorrow with that wet weather heading into the area again late tonight, overnight into tomorrow, lingering into our afternoon, but clearing out for our Friday. In the Valley South, we're feeling temperatures in those mid to upper 50s for us today, and then jumping at about 65 degrees by Friday. So almost 10-degree difference as you're heading into your Friday, and your Saturday, Sunday is shaping up fairly nice with temperatures in those low 60s. So getting pretty nice and calm getting into our weekend. So let's go ahead and get through the rest of this week. You know, most of us are starting to see that we're getting into, I would say, Thanksgiving break, and a lot of kiddos are excited about that, but getting up and getting ready today, tomorrow, may be a little bit of a hassle for us, but Friday is shaping up fairly nice, and that's setting us up for a pretty nice weekend. Low 60s Saturday and Sunday in Chico. Heading into next week, we got 60s continuing and looking at the chances for some partly cloudy and mostly sunny conditions. Mid to upper 50s in Red Bluff for us today, and temperatures dropping a little bit tomorrow, overnight into tomorrow, but then we got Fridays with those 60s for most of us and 66 on Saturday. So it's going to be fairly warm, again, almost that 10-degree difference. So warming up as we start to get this ridge moving in, and looking around the Redding area, mid to upper 50s today. That system really coming through, I would say, between 11 tonight all the way until about your morning hours is when you could expect it. If you're a light sleeper, the rain may wake you up just around 1 to 2 a.m. Looking into our Thursday, temperatures in the upper 50s, and then getting into Friday, again, almost a 10-degree difference. So we're definitely going to feel the warmer conditions and less rain out there. Not really looking at any of that wet weather. Heading into our Saturday, I got 69 right there on Saturday, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of us even reach into those upper 60s, even touching into some low 70s. Sunday shaping up fairly nice for us, and into next week we got that sunshine on the way. So not too shabby out there as we're heading out and about for us. I hope you all enjoy your day today, and thank you again for sticking with me throughout all of the technical issues this morning. And Mike has been a wonderful help behind the scenes, and he has been great at getting me going. And I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you with a couple of photos out there to just to kind of look at some images as we start to kind of head throughout our day. Soda Ridge, again, a little bit more we're seeing of that dew from the clouds and fog, and it's shaping up to be a wet day for us later as we head in. Fort Jones, we got some of those low clouds again, and not too shabby out there, I would say. Looking over at Lake Oroville, it's shaping up fairly nice as you're heading out. Have a great day, everyone.